Welcome dancers, welcome. This is Mr. Elisha. Welcome to the video. Today we have a lot to talk about, okay? I am always trying to learn what I can do to make classes better and to learn about the struggles of adult ballet dancers. And as someone that's passionate about that, I had posted in Reddit, your number one problem, issue, challenge in adult ballet class. Curious what your guys' number one challenge in adult ballet class is, coming from a former professional ballet dancer and current ballet instructor. I've been doing ballet for either 18 or 20 years, San Francisco Ballet School, American Ballet Theater, School of American Ballet. I also hold the teaching certificate from ABT, and I've created my own online ballet course, Internet Ballet, where I take my beginner adult student, Mackenzie, from beginner to advanced, recording every class we do. And of course, to my surprise, over 115 comments on this entire thread. We're gonna read through all this, and I want you guys to comment below which of these is one of your pain points and what I can do to make this better for you. So first off, we have, my number one gripe is not letting students know the etiquette of class. I've seen teachers not emphasize how to do a formation in the diagonal and how to move in it. People who are new to ballet kind of move wherever and sometimes interfere with other dancers. Now this is very common, right? Making formations is a big part of ballet, whether it's a diagonal, whether it's making lines. And when it comes to the etiquette, there's many things that need to be taught in the ballet. Like, for example, you need to be in a disciplined mode, right? It's not just chat, haha the whole time. Like, you need to focus and see what the teacher is doing. That's an important part of ballet class. As well as the fact that, I have little things like you always turn into the bar. We don't turn away from the bar when switching sides. And, for example, bowing or curtsying to the teacher at the end of class, that's a traditional thing, a little more of an old school thing, but, it still happens in the ballet class, not so much in the adult studios. We applaud at the end of class. That's something that misses in a lot of the competition studios. So this person makes a valid point. For adult ballet teachers to show the etiquette and teach the etiquette of a ballet class when it comes to the adults is going to be very important. Now, there's a couple of responses here. Yes, absolute beginners need to know the absolute basics. What to do in the center, how to hold the bar, exactly how far apart as a second position, exactly where my foot goes in retiré or coup de pied. I know I'm one of those people who wants to know every little detail in order to understand something, not just in ballet. So maybe it doesn't matter to most people, but I find even a lot of beginner tutorials and various things don't address the super basics that, frankly, people who are experienced probably don't even remember having to learn. So they don't think to address it. Absolutely, it's the details, the devil's in the details. It's the most important thing, is the details. And even if you're a casual, it pays to know the details, because then you look like you're someone that knows what they're doing, and you want to know what you're doing, right? Imagine how you feel that you can go around talking to people, I know ballet, right? And if you want to know more of those basics, right, Internet Ballet, the link will be in the description below, school.com/learn ballet. That's where I'm teaching everything. It always drives me nuts when new students hang in the back corner for across the floor exercises as though they're going next, but then chicken out at the last minute and tell you to go. But now you're late and you've screwed up the whole combo. This happens with my younger students as well. It's a very annoying thing. It pays to pay attention. It's very important. Formations are sadly hard to teach. I've taken a class of teenagers 12 through 16, and I have to position them and size the groups every time. I wanted them positioned well within the room to not run out of space in the combination and not collide with each other. I often had to stop the music before between groups because they weren't really ready, and I wanted them to have a chance to do it with a good start. It took me 6+ classes in a row with them before they finally got halfway decent, but it still wasn't quite right. And that's why you have to teach the process and the system of how do we get in line in the first place, right? And this is what I teach my younger students especially, right? So, if it's a bigger studio, make sure you have space between your partners. Look left and right. Use your peripherals, right? You want to be in line. If we're in a line that's vertical, a line where the person in the front is downstage and the person in the back is upstage, you want to make sure that all you're seeing is the bun or the back of the head of the person in front of you. That's all you should be seeing in that case. There's systems and processes. There's a method of the madness to getting those lines. Like, a lot more comments here. Good Lord, as an adult ballet student who oddly had a good sense of formations, this is the biggest frustration I have by far. If I wind up quitting ballet, it's going to be due to the frustration of not getting instruction on floor crossings and constantly running into the person in front of me. Conversely, I have a poor sense of steps, and I think because being the only man in class, I seem to take way bigger steps than everyone else. Because that, and not really understanding what I'm doing, I get very frustrated. Virtually every class I have to just stop the crossing, often mid-jump, because I'm running into someone. It isn't just, I remember I think it was Tina LeBlanc. She was a shorter ballerina, beautiful ballerina, and people would think she was like 6 foot tall on stage. When they saw her in real life, she was like under 5 foot, I think. And she took big steps. Not just if you're a man or if you're taller. You know, some people can be big, but they don't dance. They don't use the floor. They don't move big like that, right? When you move big like that, yeah, it gets really frustrating when you're running into people because they're not moving enough. Traditionally, men in mixed ballet classes go across the floor separately after the women. Yeah, it's technically true, and we have our own classes, but we mix it up. You know what I mean? You have to use your sense of spatial awareness. Realistically, they usually only form one group, though in rare classes with more than 4 men, they can form 2. If you have a live pianist, you should definitely go across the floor in your own group because the pianist will slow down slightly so the men can take bigger jumps. Yes, this is true. If you are the only man in your class, try forming a last group with 1 or 2, 3 more advanced dancers that want to work their jumps or men's steps. The teacher has set a different combination for you, and no matter the group, go first so that there's no dancer in front of you. Yeah, that's basically good advice for the most part, but you know, sometimes I want to move quicker, so I go with the girls, you know what I mean? Sometimes I want to do the man stuff, so I go with the men. You know, it just depends across the board. Even tips and tricks for the bar and center. A lot of new adult ballet dancers take the first or last position on the bar because they don't have anyone to follow. Very true. I'm telling you guys, I've told you this in the past, you have to clear your mind, focus on what the teacher's doing. Otherwise, you're gonna have to follow everyone else in the room. And if someone makes a mistake, you make the mistake yourself. Same with center exercises, best to stay in the middle. I see lots of first timers going front line and having a difficult time memorizing the routine amongst many things you need to do in the center. Like some others have pointed out, the lack of serious classes. Most classes I took as an adult were fun classes with a few corrections and where the teachers were more focused on us not getting bored than properly acquiring the technique. It's very frustrating to have to do very complex exercises when you just don't have the basics. And at ballet, link in the description below, I got the basics for you guys. Let's go. My pet peeve is teachers saying they don't care if we don't do it properly when they give us moves or combinations that are way too complex for most of the students in the class, and then throwing us into them while not taking the time to work on them properly. I'm not going to a class to butcher a few dance moves. I can very well do that in my kitchen for free. I get very overwhelmed by this, and it makes me hate some of the classes, considering quitting one of them at the moment actually. You know, this is serious right here. So her advice, teachers, take it slow. Don't rush into more complex things. Just make it fun. Most adults need to be entertained and not serious about the training. Don't assume that most adults need to be entertained or not serious about the training. Also, don't just do what you think is fun. Our ideas of fun can differ widely. For example, I love bar exercises, which a lot of adult teachers seem to hate. Run through them way too quickly for my taste. You know, very important points here. And, you know, we got a lot of comments here, a lot of longer paragraphs. We're going to try to go through all of it. But this person makes a very important point, which is that, you know, I think a lot of the studio owners and a lot of the adult ballet teachers were thinking, you know, we got to make this fun, otherwise people are going to quit. And it's quite the opposite. You want to be in something where you're disciplined, where you're being structured, and where you're going to get the most out of it. That is extremely important. If, like she said, you can just do it in your kitchen for free. Dancers, this has been great. This is Mr. Elisha. Basta.